Hey guys, if you suffer from migraine headaches, auras, visual disturbances, or any other migraine related problems, then this video is for you. On this video, I'm going to be covering the new model in understanding migraine headaches, which is much different from the old way of thinking, and also giving you 5 contributors and hopefully what you can be doing to stop those contributors to migraine headaches. My name is Dr. Kresimir Jug. I am a structural chiropractor from London, Ontario, Canada. We help people regain their health and get relief from spinal-related health problems through the power of structural chiropractic care and life by design principles. We used to believe that migraines were caused by changes in blood flow to the head and to the brain. So the previous model relied heavily on the blood flow, for lack of better terms. And if the blood vessels would dilate or become larger or constrict or become smaller, the previous thinking was that's what would cause the auras and the sensitivities and the migraine headaches. However, with the new data coming out, we're starting to realize that migraine headaches have more to do with the adaptability or the sensitivity of your nerve system. Look at it this way. Let's pretend that you've had an extremely bad day at work. Something went wrong with one of the projects, the weather is bad, the traffic was bad, things aren't going the greatest at home, you're under a lot of stress. It takes a lot less to set you off and make you angry or tired than it would if everything else was going completely well in your life. Same thing seems to be true with migraine headaches. Migraine headache sufferers have a sensitivity in their nerve system. And what that means is it takes less of a stimulus to send somebody into a migraine than it would with somebody who is not a migraine sufferer, which is why things like light and sound and tastes and food sensitivities tend to trigger people with migraines. It's not necessarily those things. It's not the light or the food or the triggers. Not to say that overexposure is a great thing, but it looks to be that the people suffering from migraines have less of an adaptability in their nerve system to deal with those stimuluses than people who don't suffer from migraines. So it's less to do with the external and more to do with how your body processes the internal. Now, with that being said, here are 5 factors that contribute to nerve system sensitivity. Number 1 is genetics. This is why we see with patients of migraine sufferers, it is very likely to have a parent or another relative that also has migraines. So it looks as though people suffering from migraine headaches have a much different cellular wall, especially the pump that allows, the way that a nerve impulse works is you have inside the cell and outside of the cell, and you need to let ions inside the cell to produce a nerve impulse. Now, with migraine sufferers, what we know is that the pumps or the portals that allow those ions in and out are different or look much different than people who don't have migraine headaches. They fire different, and as a result, it could be one of the contributory factors to having a more sensitive or a sensitized nerve system. Number 2 is a phenomenon called a cortical spreading depression. It's not well understood. It's also seen not just in migraine sufferers, but in concussion sufferers and people who suffer from seizures, and also people who have had brain damage. What this is a large sweeping depolarization of the entire cortex. And what this does is it could be responsible for some of the auras and some of the changes in smells that migraine sufferers experience. Number 3 is a process called, I wrote it down just to make sure I got it right, central sensitization. So central sensitization has to do with your body's ability or the way that we process pain. So pain, believe it or not, is very context dependent. And I'll even give you an example. If you were to go to the gym and you were to wake up sore the next morning, you wouldn't be upset. You would actually be happy because you would link going to the gym with the pain, and that would produce a positive effect. You wouldn't be concerned. However, if you were just to wake up in the morning, haven't done anything different, and feel the exact same soreness that going to the gym would have created, you would be a lot more concerned about that. So what happens with migraine sufferers is the fact that other nerves feed into the area of the brain that processes pain. It can change the way that your body is perceiving those impulses, and it can create a response of pain where really there isn't necessarily, or there should be, a response to pain. And this is often why migraine sufferers notice, sinus trouble or plugged nose, because these other nerves are involved and they're firing as if there's an actual problem when there's no actual problem. Number 4 is the brainstem. Now, I created a whole video around structural chiropractic and taking pressure off of the brainstem, and this is one of the reasons why migraine sufferers and headaches tend to respond very favorably to structural chiropractic care. Depending on where it is that you're watching this video, there will either be a link somewhere here or in the comments. So if you're interested, make sure. But the point is the brainstem. So the brainstem is where the nerve system actually leaves the brain. It's at C1 and C2, which is the upper cervical spine. But there are other what are called nuclei in those areas. And what those nuclei do is they involve and they regulate other centers in your brain. So the breathing center, the pain center, the blood pressure center. And what we find with all of these neurological sensitivities is that these nuclei tend to become stimulated, which is one of the reasons why migraine sufferers do suffer from other seemingly irrelevant but yet completely connected, sinus trouble and plugged noses and visual auras and pain in their teeth and pain in their jaws and heart rate issues could be stemming from pressure on the upper cervical or the brainstem. And number 5 is hormones. And bad news for the females watching this, the typical female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, tend to be hormones that make and exacerbate migraine symptoms just on their building block nature. This is also why females tend to experience migraines 33% more than males. That's it for today's video. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below. I would love to be able to help, hopefully point you in the right direction and get you some help. Please like, share, and subscribe for more. And please share this with anybody else who might have migraines that could really use your help.